of Setu team and the entire Little Scholars fraternity, I would like sorry for the fluctuations. We are facing network issues. But as the journey is coming to an end, fruits of the labor of our participants. So this last session is going to be very interesting. Without wasting time, I would like to hand over the session to our proficient panelists. All yours, Chavi ma'am and Darab sir.
Hi, thank you both.
Thank you both.
Yeah, this is it's indeed been quite a journey for me and Darab as well. Trust me, we are learning with all of you, and hope you are also learning a few things on the way. So I think since in the interest of time, I will what I will do is I'll just quickly go through the processes we've been through today, till today. What is it that we expect you to present today? And after your presentations, we will talk about we'll sort of give you tips for your presentation on October 2nd. Sounds good? Yeah, okay. I will go ahead.
That sounds good, Chavi.
All right, great. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
So I think this is a screen. By now, you should all be familiar with it.
Yeah. Everyone should be familiar with this now.
So that's us, Darab and Chavi. And we are today, and between today and on October 2nd, we will be wrapping up this little project we're all doing on reimagining waters around us. These are the 3 different tasks that all of you have engaged in, all the way from identifying the waters, identifying the issues, thinking of what kind of interventions should be there, to actually working on those interventions and presenting them in today's meeting. This is the design cycle that we have requested you all to follow. And like I said, in the first task, you looked at the waters around you, tried to identify issues, tried to identify who was affected and how they were affected. And based on that, we had asked you to come up with possible interventions, possible ways of resolving these issues. Selecting one intervention that you want to go forward with, except in 1 or 2 cases where you might be doing 2 interventions. We had asked you to research on them, to be able to present your research, and also give us one criteria that you will use to judge whether the intervention you're planning is successful or not. This is what you presented last time. And today you would be you would describe to us the features of your chosen intervention that you will be presenting. You will also mention to us how will this intervention or your prototype, plan, design, artwork, whatever you have developed, how will it transform either the waters that you're concerned about or the target audience that you have selected. You will tell us a criteria that you think will help you judge as to how successful your chosen intervention is. And we would really like to hear from you. What is it that you have learned by participating in this project? How has it changed your perspective with respect to different things? And how has it changed you, if at all? Okay. So I will, after this, this presentation will go into what the tips for October 2nd. However, I will stop sharing my screen right now. And we will start calling the teams. And I know a few people are still joining, but I'm hoping most of the teams are here. What we would like you to do when we call out the team, we want you to first, all of you to open your videos, if your signal allows it. And then introduce, tell us your team name. Tell us which waters are you planning to work with, or which target audience you're planning to work with. Tell us which issue you had identified. Tell us what is your chosen intervention. So just in like 2 lines, tell us, okay, this is the river, for example, and this is the name of the river, and it's near this village that we went to see, and we found these problems, and our chosen intervention is XYZ. And then you go ahead and you describe the features of your intervention. You tell us how it will change the river or the target audience. You tell us one criteria that you will use to judge how successful the intervention is going to be, and reflect on how has this changed your perspective or your understanding, those things.
And so, what have you learned by participating in this journey, in this learning journey?
Yeah. So I'm going to call upon, let me see if this team is here at all. Angelfish Harbor. I do see some of you. Angelfish Harbor, would you please like to start? Okay, so in the interest of time, since I'm not...
A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. We are from the team Jellyfish Heaven.
Yes.
Actually, we have a request to make. Our children are here in school itself. So we
Okay.
want to present first. Can we present first so that we can allow them to go back home?
Okay, yeah. I think that should be fine. Darav, yes, we can do that, right?
If it works with you, we'll be very appreciable to you.
Okay,
Sure.
so when you start presenting, please just since okay, so we will need the recording for this Setu team. Can we make sure that all the presentations get recorded? Because the recording has Jellyfish Heaven team, you can definitely start, but I just want to make sure that we are recording what you're presenting.
Sure, ma'am. Do let us know when we should start.
Setu team, I think there is some issue with the...
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So are we able to record? Setu team, are you able to record? Because I think it said recording has stopped. Excellent. Thank you. So teams, please note, we would need today's recordings to be done well. So in case it is not recording, we may interrupt you and ask you to wait until the recording starts again. Okay. So Jellyfish Heaven, I think we can start right away. So please state your team name and which waters, what issues, what intervention, and directly go into presenting the intervention.
Is our screen visible to you, ma'am?
Yes.
And we are clearly audible?
Yeah, can you rotate the screen, please?
This way, ma'am?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
earlier you
Very
were
nice.
sideways.
Yeah, and so good to see everybody. Really nice to see everybody here. All right.
So
Yeah.
very good. Okay. So very good afternoon, ma'am. Very good
Yes.
afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, all the participants. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Team Jellyfish Heaven. The problem which we have taken was Kalyani River. The pollution which was created nearby homes, the dirty water near the Kalyani River. So this is a model that we have made, a prototype come working model based on how the grey water which is present can be reused and reutilized so that the Kalyani River will be less polluted.
Now
Good
we are
afternoon.
handing over to our participants, ma'am. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are here to present a model of sustainable aqua for sustainable household water. Grey water is a domestic wastewater which is generated from various household activities. Through this model, we will be showing the reutilization of this grey water so that the wastewater can be used in our households itself and the river Kalyani will be less polluted. So, on the first floor, the grey water is collected from various sources such as AC, RO, wash basins, sinks, bathrooms, and kitchen. This grey water is then transported to a filtration unit where this water is filtered and is stored in a water tank. This stored water can be used for porous terracotta roof sealing. This is our innovative idea, which works on the principle of cooling due to evaporation, where we have used terracotta pipes which help us to maintain our room cool. We have used raindropper sensor in these pipes for alarming us about the excess water, and we have used exhaust fans for removing the warm air out of this room, and also a thin layer of sand is applied on the sides of the terracotta pipes to provide it strength. This stored water can also be used for various other purposes. For example, gardening, irrigating the plants, and even in ponds for the aquatic animals, and also for infiltration.
Plant bacteria synergistic system. In this home, we have used plant bacteria synergistic system in which plants like reeds and rushes make a suitable condition for the beneficial bacteria in their root zones. They purify the grey water as they take the nutrients and organic matter and break it down. So lastly, thank you Team Setu, Chavi ma'am and Dharap sir. By this project with different tasks related to Jeevandayini Kalyani River, we have gained the insight into the river's ecosystem, identified problem and built to develop
Solutions.
various solutions to this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Team Jellyfish Haven.
Thank you so much, Team
Thank you.
Jellyfish Haven.
Yeah. So that's a lot of effort. I have a few questions from you, very quickly. Your team did a Nukkad Natak, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I thought Nukkad Natak and Youth Action was your chosen intervention. So did you decide to change the chosen intervention?
No, ma'am, on the day, on 2nd of October, we have planned that it will be collectively, but today it was a working model, it was a prototype, and we have explained how it will be.
So my
Ma'am,
question is, will you be doing the Nukkad Natak as well or no?
Yes, ma'am. Like we have taken many intervention. The purpose was that we can affect the different level of population. Like for children, we have make a board game. For the male and female members, we have made a prototype model plus Nukkad Natak. So that the idea of making a Kalyani River a better for future. That's why we have chosen many interventions so that our thought can be clear to the each and every part of the population.
Okay. So I think Dharav, we can give some feedback right away because I think they will be. I don't know if they will be online later on. So from my side, it's. I mean, you've done a lot of work, but make sure that whatever. It's important to follow the process as well, like. Not do unrelated things completely. Like I said, there is always time after Setu also for you to do interventions. So make sure things are in a proper process when you are explaining on the 2nd, and we will show you with the what all you will be judged on for this on the 2nd as well. So the other thing is reflect a little deeper on the process. I think more has to come from you in terms of the reflections. What is it that you have learned?
Actually, ma'am, we were bound to the 3 minutes limit. So that's why we
sure. Yeah, so that's
we
why
try to wind it.
Yeah, but make sure you give salient features of everything that is asked. Okay, so because those reflections are not any less important than the way your model is going to work. So that call to take when to stop explaining one thing and go into something else is a call that you will have to make. So think about it. Make it a bit more. It has to be a natural thing. It's not something you really should need to read up your reflection. What did I learn? It has to be something I learned XYZ. Like what is it that you personally learned is important. So think about it. Just, when you're presenting there, we'll also give you tips, more tips about this. We haven't heard of any criteria of what is the criteria that, how will you, if you want to improve the Kalyani River, what criteria will you use to judge that your intervention is going to be successful? And these are, I don't want to already give out the criteria, but these could be some very simple things that you can do. So think about the point number 3. So point number 3 and 4 are a little bit not so, haven't come up in your presentation. Point number 2 has come up in an indirect manner, where you're saying if the grey water doesn't go to the river, are you preventing the grey water from going into the river? Will it never go into the river? Think about those things a little bit more. But presentation is very nice. And you clearly have put in a lot of effort. Even in your first and second tasks, you have put in a lot of effort. So overall, well done. And we look forward to your 2nd of October. And I hope some of you will stay just till the end of this, when we discuss the tips for 2nd October.
Everybody will be here, ma'am.
Okay. But yeah. So that's from my side. Darab, do you want to say something?
So I just wanted to say that I'm overwhelmed by this model. I mean, the amount of effort that's gone into putting this model together. I just want to commend you all for your dedication and your enthusiasm and effort to put this together. It's really wonderful to see something in 3 dimensions. And like Chavi was saying, that yes, it's a wonderful idea for an intervention, but remember that between now and October, I mean, basically you had a 10-day period to come up with an intervention. And remember, we said that we understand that you cannot transform the water source in 10 days, but where can you make an impact? So you've come up with an idea that can work at a household level, and you obviously want to communicate it to people, right? So maybe the intervention that you're really thinking about, but which maybe didn't come out today because you were focusing on this model for how you can treat grey water and prevent that grey water from going directly into the river, is communicating how a household can actually treat their grey water. Maybe that's what you were really trying to get across. Both Chavi and I have been kind of, when we look at a presentation, we think about what is the team trying to actually tell us about their presentation, and how are they going to be able to judge to what extent their intervention is going to make a difference. So there's no doubt this is tried and tested technology. We know that recycling grey water does work. But the question is, for the Kalyani River, how can you take this technology and make a difference? So the way I look at it is by making people aware about this technology is perhaps how you can make a difference. And of course, there are, like you yourself in your Nukkad Natak, you spoke about making people aware and trying to change certain practices, trying to find ways for the city overall to kind of lower the pollution load in the river. So things like that. I would really like you to focus on the communication aspect for October 2nd. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you, Jellyfish Haven, and we'll move on. So is Angelfish Harbor ready?
Excuse me, ma'am, I have a query, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt again. We have prepared a small song also related to Kalyani River. Just to
okay.
So can we present on 2nd?
So from Darab and me, that's okay. You will have to consult the Setu team as to where you can present it in the space. So please consult with the team how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Thank you,
always
ma'am. Thank you,
nice,
sir.
lovely
Thank
to
you.
hear poetry and songs, and they make a lot of difference. Yeah.
And
Okay.
oh
Thank
yeah,
you,
I
ma'am. Thank you.
just wanted to add one more comment that I'm really struck by the idea that, Team Jellyfish Haven, you've really gone out of your way to break down your target audience into different age groups.
Yeah.
And think really seriously about, okay, what will be the best way to reach this age group, the adults, children, and I really commend you for doing that. But I feel like maybe that was you didn't need to go so far, I think
Okay. Okay.
yeah, a Nukkad Natak is a medium that can reach every age group. So we were
Okay. Okay.
we were really happy with the idea
Acha.
of the Nukkad Natak.
Okay. Fine. So we'll present the Nukkad Natak again on 2nd, sir.
So you can present whatever you have.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
that you have, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And connect with the Setu team to understand where in the space you can present it. That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
I think what Darab is trying to say is that you're very strong on the what, but you're not. You have to work in the next 2 days to think about how to measure the difference. And why is it? So you've already said why, that you want to, address different stakeholders. That is also fine. But how do you measure your success is something. Think about it in the next 2 days, and think of what you have learned in a way that is not something you read out, but something you can say from your heart and your own mind.
Okay.
That I learned this.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
For the students.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Yeah. So okay, Angelfish Harbor, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am, we're ready.
Wonderful. So please tell us what was the water source, water body, target audience? What was the issue?
Ma'am, it was the Kalyani River.
And what was the issue?
Ma'am, the issue was there was stagnant water everywhere. So we thought like we have to bring in a change.
Okay. Stagnant water. Okay. And what was the chosen intervention? Is it a video?
Ma'am, it was like public awareness, and to promote it, we have started at grassroots level, and we have founded a society in our school, Delhi Public School, Rudrapur, and like they have kind of a motto. And they have a motto that like save Kalyani, save water, and yes, so here is a short video showing it.
Okay. So when you say they, is it some other group, or is it you? Are you also a part of it?
No, ma'am, we are only there.
It's your team.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Remember to share sound if you're sharing a video, please.
I'm screen shared with it.
So with the screen share, you also have to go on the 3 dots and say more, and you will find the share sound. So then we can see it and also hear it.
Yes, ma'am, we're sharing.
A blooming day to everyone present here. This is Angelfish Harbor, and we are here to present our task number 3 as a form of a short movie. A drop of water, small and clear, on a leaf it does appear. It joins a stream, begins to roam, merging, flowing, finding home. But why do we need to save water? If we don't want our future to be like this thirsty crow, we need to bring a change, not only in others, but ourselves. Save Kalyani, save Pani. Save Kalyani, save Pani. Save Kalyani, save Pani. Good afternoon, sir. We are the residents living near Kalyani River. As you know, it is getting really polluted. So we are here to save the Kalyani River from getting waste material. Oh, yes, I remember. It's all so well. Yes. Oh, yes, I remember. When my mother and father used to go to the Atarya temple, they used to take a bath in the river. But now the water is so toxic that we don't even go there. Yes, you're right. 236 industries dump their waste into the water every day. And also municipal, residential and domestic waste is also dumped in the river. And as you know, it is the duty of all the residents of Rudrapur and other cities in near to save Kalyani River. So we are gathering people to help us in saving Kalyani River. And our motto is Save Kalyani, Save Pani. So join with us and say Save Kalyani, Save Pani. Let us now unite to save Kalyani. Save the blue so you don't get it before you slip it. A thirsty man needs just a drop of water. Drop, drip, drop. This clock must be stopped. As you can see, we have decided to spread awareness and motivate the people around us to become lifesavers by saving water. And remember, to bring a change in others, we have to bring a change in ourselves.
These are the little initiatives taken by us in our school.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. That was a nicely put together video. I think you all started with talking about chemical discharge from the industries, and definitely awareness was your chosen intervention. However, there is not so much that I'm hearing about the chemicals here. So think about that. If not for your video, then for your presentation on October 2nd. And also think about how will you judge that whatever actions you're going to take are affecting the people. And would any of you like to very quickly tell us what you learned, reflect on what you learned in this project?
Ma'am, from this project, basically, we first learned that to, make a change, we have to be a change ourselves.
Okay. Nice.
And also we learned that, with togetherness, with unity, with conserved efforts, like we can finally bring a change. Many of my friends, they are also thinking, and the footages you saw, they were actually of not just the team, but of many people that were near us. So yes, we thought that this definitely brought a change in people's attitude.
I'm really sorry, I wasn't able to hear you. I really want to hear what you just said, but I'm sorry, your voice was kind of fading and it was very, it was soft.
I think Dara, one thing that they said was to be the change if you want to change. And the other one was about the collaboration, where they said it was not just the people from the team, but some of the other people also. And if I have missed out, then Angelfish Harbor, if your connection is good, then you can just tell us in case we have missed something.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, now can you hear us?
Yes, much
I
better.
hear you much
Yes,
better
ma'am.
now.
So we said that to be the change, we have to, to bring up a change, we have to be the change ourselves. So we started at grassroots level at our school. So
kind of we brought our friends together, our people around our surroundings together, and they also said to conserve water. And the footage that you saw in this video, they were not just only of the team, but also of the people that were around us, because that was our motto. And regarding the industrial waste, one of our team members, we went there and we clicked pictures, and that was also inside the video that we made.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you and all the best. So we'll move on to the next team, that is Dolphin Lagoon.
And I just wanted to say that both Chabi and I loved your video.
Yes.
We really enjoyed you interacting with others and basically showing how reaching out to the community, trying to make other people aware of the problem, trying to build the strength of the community to do something about their problems. We really enjoyed seeing that on the video.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's move on to Dolphin Lagoon. You ready?
Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am, we are from the team Dolphin Lagoons. Ma'am, before the presentation, I want to say something. May I please say it?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, our exams were going on. We had our last exam on 27th of September, and we didn't have enough time to prepare a model. But in place of that, we are preparing an illustration that we'll present on 2nd of October, along with a role play and a poem in the end. Today, we are here with a PowerPoint presentation.
All right. All right. Yeah. But I must say that in spite of your exams, you have done well in tasks 1 and 2. So
thank you so much
on that. And yes, please go ahead and share your presentation.
Ma'am, the main source of water that we have chosen is groundwater. The issue that we have taken is when the groundwater is used excessively in the fields, the level of groundwater goes down, and the people living in or near rural areas face so many problems regarding to water, like they don't have enough access to water and they have to fetch and borrow water from far away places. Our chosen intervention is multi-cropping that we'll moreover discuss in the presentation.
Okay.
Ma'am, may I start with the presentation now?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, actually, I'm unable to share my screen right now.
Is that so? Okay, let me check. Team Setu, can you help with that, please? Can you give them rights to share?
Ma'am, we have given them rights.
Okay. Dolphin Lagoon, are you still unable to share?
Ma'am, wait, let me check. Water, the clear liquid that has no color, taste, or smell, that falls from clouds as rain, that forms streams, lakes, and seas, and that is used for drinking, washing, etc. In this slide, we have major sources of water around us. First is rainwater. Second is Ganga River Basin in which we live. Third is Kosi River. And the fourth, the main source that we have taken is groundwater. Now we'll discuss about the rainwater. Rainwater is formed when water vapor in the atmosphere condenses into droplets and falls to the ground as precipitation. It's a crucial part of the Earth's water cycle, and it is usually clean from pollutants, making it great for various uses like watering plants, filling of ponds, or even for drinking after proper filtration. Then we have the Ganga River Basin in which we live. It's one of the largest river basins in India. The Ganga River is considered sacred and holds immense cultural and religious significance. It provides water for irrigation, supports diverse ecosystems, and is home to many species. Then we have Kosi River. It's a major river in Nepal and flows through Bihar in India. It is also known as the sorrow of Bihar due to its tendency to cause devastating floods. And it's our nearest river and also one of the major sources of water for us. And then groundwater. It's the water that fills the spaces between soil particles and rocks underground. It's an important source of fresh water for drinking, agriculture, and industries. Groundwater is replenished by rainfall and snowmelt that seep into the ground. However, over-extraction and pollution can deplete and contaminate groundwater. It's crucial to manage and conserve this precious resource for sustainable use. Then we'll discuss about the importance of groundwater. It's super important for us because it's the vital source of fresh water that we rely on for many things, like for drinking and in irrigation to grow crops, for various industrial purposes as well. It also helps maintain the flow of rivers and supports ecosystems. Plus, during dry spells or droughts, groundwater can be a reliable backup. So it's essential to protect and conserve groundwater for our present and future needs. Then we have issues that we face regarding groundwater. Like when groundwater is used excessively in irrigation, it can lead to several issues. Like first, overpumping can cause the water table to drop, resulting in the depletion of groundwater resources. This can lead to wells running dry and a lack of water for other purposes. Secondly, excessive groundwater extraction can cause land subsidence, where the ground sinks due to emptying of groundwater aquifers. This can damage infrastructure and affect the stability of the land. And then
the time is almost up, huh?
In the same field at the same time. This technique offers several benefits. First, it maximizes land use efficiency by utilizing space effectively. Different crops with varying own habits and nutrient requirements can be grown together, optimizing the use of sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. Then we have the advantages. It has several advantages. First, it maximizes land use efficiency by growing multiple crops together. And secondly, it diversifies income for farmers since they can harvest multiple crops simultaneously. This reduces the risk of crop failure and provides a more stable source of income. Additionally, multi-cropping promotes ecological balance by attracting beneficial insects and improving soil health through enhanced biodiversity. It also allows for better utilization of sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. Overall, multi-cropping is a sustainable and efficient farming method. Then we have the disadvantages. When it comes to multi-cropping, there are few potential drawbacks to consider. One challenge is the management and coordination required for different crops with varying growing habits and nutrient requirements. It can be more complex to plan and implement effective pest and disease control strategies. Additionally, multi-cropping may result in reduced yields compared to monocropping, as crops may compete for resources like sunlight, water, and nutrients. However, with proper planning and management, these challenges can be overcome and the benefits of multi-cropping can outweigh the drawbacks. It's important for farmers to carefully consider their specific circumstances. Then feasibility. Multi-cropping is a feasible and practical agricultural practice. It has been successfully implemented in many regions around the world. By carefully selecting compatible crops and considering factors such as growth habits.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you here because you're way over time. I know it's almost also the end of your this one. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you. So this is the presentation for today, right? And you said you're doing a model for this.
Ma'am, we are going to like a illustration we are going to present on second.
You're going to do an illustration. Okay. So my question to you is, from what I remember, you had spoken to a farmer and they talked about a bund.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that bund, did they have multiple crops that they were doing?
Yes, ma'am. He was saying that they had.
Okay. Because this is, this is probably related, but I'm trying to actually make that relation between where is that bund to here. And you see, the reason I lost it is because suddenly you started explaining to me about what is rainwater. The reason we have asked you to do these presentations in 3 minutes is so that you do not talk about things that one may not need to know. Hear from you about your presentation. For example, I don't really need to learn about rainwater to talk about multi-cropping. It could be a question that I may ask you, and then you have these important things in your pocket that you can tell me when I ask you a question if I have a doubt as an audience. But I would encourage you to start from the fact that there was this issue identified. With the farmer, we learned that they use bunds and they use multi-cropping, and we decided to make another illustration about that, and then jump right into multi-cropping in terms of a presentation. And it's okay to give the first, idea that you're in the Ganga Basin in near Kosi River. That is okay. You can also mention why groundwater is important. A few of that also is all right. But focus on the project, because you've done so much work and you've also done good work. So in a presentation, focus on the project. What is required to explain my project, not what is required to give every information that I've learned. Okay, so just maybe tweak your presentation a little bit when you present, and we'll also give you some tips about that. Again, I have not heard anything about how will you find out this is going to be successful. What is your measure of finding that out, and what are your reflections? So in the
to determine the success of multi-cropping, we can consider factors like crop compatibility, water availability, soil fertility, climatic suitability, and market demand.
Okay, so that has to come, but how is it? How will you? These are big words. How will you actually find out that what's happened to the market demand? For example. So how is this going to change to indicate that you have been successful? That's something that has to come from you. And also, do you want to quickly reflect on what you've learned in this project?
Ma'am, from multi-cropping, we learned how to optimize water usage, improve soil health, and diversify crop production. It teaches us sustainable farming practices and helps us adapt to changing environment.
Okay. So these things should be a part as well of the presentation, and way before your 3 minutes are over, right? As in, they should come a little earlier. So all this is important. So that's from my side. Dara, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I want to pretty much echo what Chabi has just said, that, when you only have 3 minutes, you really only have time to focus on the main points. So you should not be reading an entire paragraph out. At the very most, you should summarize that. Let's say if you had an entire paragraph on groundwater, you just pick out like maybe 2 or 3 main points, like one sentence, because you really don't have the time to read out entire paragraphs. And that's where actually you ran out of time. And also remember, the focus is on the intervention, not on the background. Okay. So whereas you gave us really great information, you showed us that you'd really done some in-depth research, and you'd understood the concept of multi-cropping, the different aspects of multi-cropping, the background of the whole region. And we really appreciate that. But like Chavi said, the focus needed to be on the presentation. And just one thing about the Kosi River, what you mentioned, there's actually two Kosi rivers. This Kosi River, where your school is located, is a different Kosi River than the one that comes from Nepal and goes through Bihar. That's a much bigger river. This is a smaller river. They have the same name though, but the sources are completely different. So just wanted to point that out. Okay. Otherwise, we really appreciate the depth of your presentation, and we really appreciate the fact that you actually went in the field, you talked to a farmer, and you chose the farmer's wisdom for an intervention. Both Chavi and I were actually talking about that when we discussed your task 1 and your task 2. But like Chavi said, the detail that you explained in task 2 about what the farmer actually said about dividing the field up into 4 parts, and what he didn't say, but we understood what he meant was that you need to have a little bit of a slope between each part so that the water flows from part 1 to part 2 to part 3 to part 4, and then the leftover water that doesn't get absorbed by the plants flows into a holding tank or a holding pond and can be then used for the next round of irrigation. So, and that's very much a part of the intervention. And what I wanted to know was, how are you going to use this intervention? Are you going to try and tell people about the intervention? Is that what the focus of your work is? Is that what it's going to be? You're going to try and raise awareness about this method of conserving water. So I wanted you to think about that before your October 2nd presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'll surely work upon it.
Thank you. We'll call upon Hermit Crab.
And
Good evening, everyone.
Chavi, if you could just give me 1 minute, I'll be right back. I'm so sorry, everyone.
No, that's fine.
Excuse me.
Is it okay if I ask Hermit Crab to tell us what until their chosen intervention and sort of set it up?
Yes.
Sure, sir.
So Hermit Crab, tell us what was your initial, what's the main water body or the target audience? What is the issue and what is the chosen intervention?
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am.
Oh, you're not audible. I'm sorry. You're not.
Ma'am,
now
we have chosen
may I
farm.
audible?
I'm sorry. 2 of you are speaking, and I'm not
Good evening,
able to hear either of you.
Good evening, everyone present here. This is Team Hermit Crab, and we have found water in the farm's nearby area, and our main focus is on water logging. That is affecting the biological system, including plants, microbes, farmers, and the consumers. And our chosen interventions are drainage system and bio-drainage. So for that, we visited the village whose farmers were facing water logging.
Okay,
And
I'm
we
sorry. I'm
spent-
gonna ask you to just wait for Dara to come back since you're going into the intervention. So we'll just wait for him to come back, and then you can continue. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
In the meantime, next team would be after Hermit Crab. We will ask Lobster Kingdom. So Lobster Kingdom, please be ready. After Hermit Crab, we'll call upon you. Okay, so Darav is back. Hermit Crab, you can begin now.
Ma'am, from starting?
No, not from starting. So Darav, this team is working on waterlogging, and they have chosen bio drainage as the chosen intervention. So yeah, Hermit Crab, carry on.
Okay, and we visited the village whose farmers were facing water logging, and there we spread awareness, and we explained our interventions also. So now my team partner is sharing one video, so please see that.
Okay.
Greetings everybody. Today we, the team Hermit Crab, are here in a village to interview the locals who are completely dependent upon agriculture for their livelihood. We'll interview them so that we can concisely know about their problems and so we can suggest them suitable interventions.
हम आज गाँव वासियों से बातचीत करेंगे ताकि हम जान सकें कि उनकी समस्याएं क्या हैं और हम उन्हें उसके संबंधित क्या समाधान बता सकते हैं। ये गांव के प्रधान हैं, एक बहुत ही प्रतिष्ठित व्यक्ति हैं जिनको पूरा गांव मानता है। आइए हम इनसे बातचीत करते हैं। नमस्ते सर, हम लोग अपने स्कूल के कार्यक्रम के लिए एक सर्वे कर रहे थे जिसके दौरान हमने ये पाया कि आपके खेतों में जल भराव हो रखा है। जल भराव के कारण आप कौन कौन सी समस्याओं का सामना करते हैं?
सबसे पहली समस्या तो यह है कि जल भराव का कोई प्रबंध यहाँ नहीं है। सबसे बड़ी समस्या है जल भराव। जल निकास के लिए जब तक जल निकास नहीं होगा जल भराव बना रहे। ठीक है,
आपने इसका कोई समाधान निकाला?
समाधान के लिए असमर्थता है क्योंकि हम अकेले व्यक्ति हैं। अकेला या गांव का प्रत्येक व्यक्ति इस बात के लिए कोई संशोधन
जी सर
या कोई तरक्की नहीं कर सकता।
तो आइए हम आपको कुछ समाधान बताते हैं। अब सार्थक जैव जल निकासी को समझाएगा।
ये चित्र बायो ड्रेनेज का है। बायो ड्रेनेज यानी कि जैव जल निकासी। इस प्रक्रिया में हम कुछ ऐसे पेड़ों को लेते हैं जिनकी जड़ें लगभग 4 से 5 मीटर तक गहरी होती हैं। ये जड़ें जमीन के नीचे स्थित अतिरिक्त पानी को सोख लेती हैं और साथ ही में उसे अपने भोजन बनाने की प्रक्रिया के दौरान ट्रांसपीरेशन के थ्रू भाव बनाकर वातावरण में छोड़ देती हैं। इनकी गहराई का अंदाजा हम कुछ एक साड़ी की लंबाई से लगा सकते हैं और इसी नस्ल के हम कुछ पेड़ अपने प्रधान जी को भेंट करना चाहते हैं, इसलिए मेरे मित्र अद्वैत उन्हें कुछ पेड़ भेंट करेंगे। हम इन भेंट दिए गए पेड़ों के सर्वेक्षण हर 2 महीने में करते रहेंगे और आपको बताएंगे, प्रस्तुत करेंगे कि कैसे इनके आसपास की जमीन पोरस हो गई और क्या क्या बदलाव देखने को मिले।
बात और ये तकनीक बहुत ही आसान है, इसमें कोई लागत नहीं लगती। सिर्फ हमें ऐसे पेड़ लगाने हैं जिनकी जड़ें बहुत गहरी जाकर पानी को अवशोषित कर लेती है, जैसे फंगियानिया पिना। तो आम के आम, गुठलियों के दाम। अब हम ऐसे भी कुछ फसल लगा सकते हैं जिसमें जो वाटर फ्रेंडली हो, जैसे पैडी, राइस, खीरा, टमाटर और भी बहुत सारे। मेरी मित्र सुविद्या आपको एक नई तकनीक के बारे में बताएगी। आप ऐसा मान लीजिए आपका खेत है, अगर अब सबसे पहले अपने खेत को एक ढलान के रूप में बदलिए और वो ढलान जहाँ खत्म हो रहा होगा आपको वहाँ पर एक गहरा गड्ढा खोदना होगा। तो इससे क्या होगा, जो मिट्टी में अतिरिक्त पानी है वो रीसता हुआ उस गड्ढे में एकत्र हो जाएगा और जो सॉइल है वो पोरस हो जाएगी और वो जो पानी एकत्र है उसको आप रीयूज कर सकते हैं। जैसे आपके पास पशुएं हैं उसको नहलाने के लिए या फिर आपने जो अलग से प्लांट्स लगा रखे हैं उनमें पानी देने के लिए, तो वो वाटर वेस्ट भी नहीं होगा, रीयूज हो जाएगा और आपकी जो सॉइल है वो पोरस हो जाएगी, जिससे आप अपनी मनचाही फसल उगा सकेंगे।
फसल संबंधी जानकारी और अपनी समस्याओं के निवारण के लिए सरकार ने भारत में कुछ कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र स्थापित किए हैं। हमारे राज्य में कुल 13 कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र, जिनमें से एक हमारे जिले उधम सिंह नगर में पासपुर रोड काशीपुर में स्थित है। यहाँ के प्रोग्राम कोऑर्डिनेटर चंदेश्वर तिवारी जी हैं। हम इनसे संपर्क करके सुबह 6 बजे से रात 10 बजे तक अपनी समस्याओं के निवारण पा सकते हैं। संपर्क सूत्र है 05947 262 281। एक अन्य संपर्क सूत्र है 05947 262 771।
अब हम अपने प्रस्तुति के अंत में आ गए हैं। मैं आशा करता हूँ कि आप सब इन तकनीकों का इस्तेमाल अच्छे से करेंगे और हानि रहित रहेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you for sharing that video. Can one of you also very quickly reflect on what you learned during this process? How did it change your perspective?
Yes, ma'am. In task 1, We chose waterlogging as the main source of problems, which harm the farmers, the consumers, the soil quality, the microbes in the soil, and thus the whole biological system. In the task 2, we presented our interventions and explained them. And now, eventually, in the task 3, we visited the farm whose farmers were facing waterlogging, and thus we had an interaction with them. We got to know about the problems, and thus we were inspired to introduce a change. We explained some techniques, and thus the farmers appreciated our work and they also understood the interventions.
Thank you. Darab, do you have any?
Thank you so much. Yeah. So if I understand what you just said about what you learned is basically, so you had researched the issue and you had some theoretical understanding, but then when you actually went to the farm and you actually saw for yourself, you actually spoke to farmers, you got a much deeper understanding, and you actually saw the reality of waterlogging, and so that was a much deeper understanding and a much richer understanding from actually interacting with a farmer and visiting a farmer's field. So that's what I got from what you were just saying. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And is there anything more you wanted to say about? Did you learn anything about yourselves or how you like to learn from visiting that farmer's field and interacting with the farmer and his family?
Yes, sir, we witnessed a lot of problems, and thus we felt that there is an urgent need for our intervention so that we can preserve and conserve water.
Yes,
sir. Okay, that's very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I think from my side, all in all, it's looking good. You've stuck to your track that you started in the beginning. So I think that's very commendable. You also suggested how you will monitor an intervention. That's also I'm happy to hear that. I don't have many inputs at this point. Darab, do you want to say something?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Can't hear you, Darab.
Oh, sorry. No, I was saying, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I think maybe reflect a bit more on the question that Darab just asked you. Be a bit more honest to yourselves, in the sense, not honest, but like open to yourselves to how was your experience with the farmers? What did you like? What did you not like? It must have been a very rich interaction. So just go another level up. You've already reached a certain level, another level up.
Yeah, so think about the difference between learning something in a classroom and learning the same thing in a farmer's field.
Yes, sir. We just as we outlooked the problem, we had some points that the farmers would have been doing such things. But when we acknowledged that how are they actually facing these challenges, we got to know that they were not sufficient arrangements for the issue of waterlogging. So they had also no contribution from the other farmers who would have worked to bring a change. So like there wasn't enough. They didn't have enough resources to work.
See, these are important, and they should come out in your presentation on second. Yeah, observation.
Yeah, that's a very, very valuable observation. We really appreciate that. And I guess from my side, I just wanted to say that again, it's just really both Shavi and I just really enjoy seeing. Out in the field and interacting with people. And that's what's different about approaching something like Sustainable Aqua for us, because it's not about just looking up articles on the internet. It's about interacting with real people and and actually looking at real issues, looking at real water sources near you. And we are so happy to see your concern for the farmers and for the problems that they're facing with waterlogging, and your obvious sincere motivation to try and help them. We're really happy to see that. And all the best for October 7th. Please spend a little bit more time reflecting on your learning. You've said a lot about what you learned about the topic, but you've said very little about what you've learned about yourselves. And we feel that there are things that are probably sitting in there which you haven't said. But if you think about it, maybe you do have something to say. So we hope on October 7th, you will say something about what each one of you has actually learned, maybe about yourself, maybe about the way you like to learn, your learning style,
Yes.
things like that. Okay.
Okay, so.
But otherwise, well done. We loved the presentation, and we loved watching you in the fields. Actually, you had prepared materials, you were presenting some information, you were asking the farmer about his thoughts. So we love that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, team.
Thank you,
Thank you, team. And let's have Lobster Kingdom. Great. Already ready.
Hi, my name is Rayan from Lobster Kingdom. Today, as we all know, we went to the Kosi River and we there interviewed people. And we found out that the problems faced by the people there were mosquitoes, shrinkage of riverbed, and polluted water in the rivers. We asked what were the problems facing by them, and they said these problems. And we furthermore, are there any other problems? They said, no, we just face these problems, but we don't use the river at all because we got submersible. So seeing this thing, seeing the situation that the people of the Kosi River faced, we think that there should be an urgent need of these interventions in the Kosi River. This is our billboard that we are preparing, and these are the interventions that we chose for the Kosi River. First is gabion structure. Gabion structure is a structure in which piles of rocks are stacked together around a wired mesh. In this, the water will get filtered, and the clean water will then again be deposited to the soil or be again used for domestic activities. Next is buffer zones. Near the river, we will plant rows of trees which will protect the soil from soil runoff as well as soil erosion, as the roots will tightly hold the soil. So, and the main thing that we chose for the intervention is buffer zones. Gabion structures. We use gabion structures because it is cost efficient. It could be applied in the situation in 10 to 15 days. And it is one of the most cost efficient structures at all.
Okay, Lobster Kingdom. So, are you making these? So, what's your presentation going to look like? Are these plates that you've painted, ceramic that you've painted, or and
these are the models that we are going to bring.
You're bringing models.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, we also have prepared a skit along with models.
You have skits around all these models?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
I want to add on something to my friend Rayan said.
Okay.
Ma'am, I can explain like gabion structure. Ma'am, the waste, domestic waste from the villages the water will go to gabion structure. It will be filtered also, and the rainwater also will be stored in gabion structure and it will be filtered. There we will build a tank in just side of the village, and that water will went to that tank for more purification. There will be layers of like filter paper, like and this all etc. And then it will pass and it will again go to villages and the people's homes, and it will be like in a cycle manner. And in summers, the water as the rivers get drier, so to fulfill the need of that water, the Gabion structure will pass the water to the rivers also in summer seasons.
Yeah, thanks. And this will be covered in the skit, some of this information?
Yes, ma'am, it will be covered in the skit.
Okay, okay. So these are the features of your intervention, and you have mentioned how these may change the waters that you want to change. Have you thought about what criteria you will use to judge the success of your interventions?
I think when we will put the when we'll build the gabion structures in the village, then we'll have another field visit to that village, so that we'll talk to the people again, that how are they affected using the gabion structures.
That's it, because this is a very engineering solution, right? An engineering solution, you need measurements. Because if that's, I remember you have focused on the gabion structure since task 2. Since it's a very engineering-based solution, there are a lot of measurements that one can think of. So in the next 2 days, move a little, like learn a little bit more in terms of, what is it that you might be able to measure that will show you success or not.
Ma'am,
think about it. You don't have to answer it right now, but you have 2 days. So think about that. In terms of also think about the other two, the buffer zone and the riparian zone. How do people demonstrate? Because there are very specific ways, very interesting ways of finding out whether whether your riparian zone is a successful zone or not. So think, at least for one of the interventions, I would suggest, and that is why we asked you to try and focus on one, but you are getting models for 3, that's fine for now. But at least for one of them, try and give us, how will you measure success, or how will you evaluate? I shouldn't say measure also, but evaluate success. And can we have some insights, reflections on what you learned, and about yourself, about any perspectives that changed? Because I remember your task 1, you were thinking of very broad things, and then after your visit and interviews, you started thinking of different things. So what did you learn? Any reflections from the team?
Ma'am, from the
we learned that in the villages, as we surveyed, people were rarely affected, and the problems they are facing, they were unaffected of that problems only. They were saying that they have no problems, but still they are facing problems as we saw them.
Okay. And something else, something about yourself. What did you learn from this project?
Ma'am, it was awesome participating in this project. What we got to learn that what we are working on is not just about minimizing environmental impact. It is also involving considering economic, social, and ethical aspects. So we are focusing on the welfare of the local communities living near the Kosi River, and we got to learn how to engage in transparent and inclusive decision-making processes. To conclude, it was a very wholesome project to work on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because and we had a session earlier that with the teachers, and teachers can probably help you understand this, but one of the differences between a purely environmental outlook and a sustainable outlook is in terms of when you talk about sustainability, you also talk about social aspects and economic aspects. You think of it as a more wholesome problem. So I'm glad that you got that out of this. Dara, I don't know if you're still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really don't have much more to add to that. But what I wanted to say was that I want you to just focus on the aspect, because you have kind of zoomed in on the idea of gabion structures. Now remember, gabion structures are essentially a way of slowing down the force of the water. And what happens is that 2 things happen. One is that the water gets slowed down, actually three things. So the force of the water gets slowed down, and so more water is able to recharge the aquifer, right? And so that those are like underground storage tanks that nature has created. And so the more water we slow down and allow to go into the ground rather than run off the surface, the better prepared we are for the dry season. So the more we recharge the aquifer, finally we reach a level where the aquifer actually recharges the river. Okay. Now, as you said, gabion structures also filter the water, but remember that happens because of all the silt, soil, bits and pieces of twigs and branches and leaves and all the things, you know, from basically from plants that get lodged against the inside end of the gabion. Okay, so that's what actually creates the filtration part. But the most important part is recharging the aquifer. So I want you to think about that, and I think it's important to bring that out in your presentation on the 2nd, because you want to recharge the aquifer, and therefore you want to create an extra stock of water that's available to people in the dry season, so they don't have to suffer so much when there's a water scarcity. So I would like you to really seriously look at that aspect. We both Chabi and I absolutely love the illustrations that we're seeing, and how you've illustrated the buffer zone, and also your gabions, and all the best to you for October 7th. And the other thing is that we'd like you to think a little bit more about your learning. Again, you've said a lot about what you've learned about the topic, but you've said very little about what each one of you as a student has learned by participating in this project, about yourself, about maybe the ways that you like to learn, and any other insights. Has interacting with people in the field, doing field research, has that changed your perspectives in any way? I think that's all I wanted to say in the interest of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Lobster Kingdom. Can you please stop sharing?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So Dara, we have
Excuse me, ma'am.
more teams, and we have, well, I think we started late, so we have, I would say, let's say 45 minutes more, and we also have to make the presentation. So maybe we do one more team, and then we make the presentation for October 2nd, and then we reconvene these presentations. Is that okay? Or Setu
Yes.
team, you can also let us know if that's okay.
Yeah, I think it would be good to, let's do one more team presentation, and then we'll just take a break and talk about the October 2nd presentation, and then we'll come back. We'll reconvene.
Yeah.
And continue with the other presentations, and we'll have to speed up the whole process a bit after we
The
come
Lobster Kingdom, if you can wait with your question till a bit after, or is it absolutely a burning question? Okay, I think we'll move on to Octopus Oasis now.
Can the team Seahorse Shallows get present?
Is there a reason?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then please wait your turn. Is the Octopus Oasis ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So Octopus Oasis, please tell us which waters, which problem, what is the chosen intervention, and present your intervention.
Okay, ma'am.
3 minutes, huh? Let's all try to stick to 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone present here.
So we, the team Octopus OSS, are here to share our perspectives on the river Kosi in Udham Singh Nagar. The river Kosi has got polluted due to many reasons. One of them is illegal sand mining. This is a big issue that can affect the local people near it. We choose the river Kosi because it would affect a lot and become a big issue. Now, my dear friends will carry on.
Whoever is starting, please tell us your chosen intervention.
Astha?
Hello to one and all present here. We are the members of Team Octopus OSS. We'll share the issues about Kosi River, starting with we are aware that the river Kosi has got polluted in the last few years. Air, water, land, everything is getting affected. If not managed correctly, sand extraction from places with fragile ecosystems can have a huge environment impact. For example, if we extract sand from the beach, it does not only lead to the destruction of it does not only lead to the destruction of local biodiversity, but can also reduce the scope for tourism. Following this, uncontrolled sand mining from the river bed leads to the destruction of the entire river system, which leads to floods. Because of this, chances of vegetation will reduce to a lower limit. From the above mentioned human activities, it also leads to desertification, loss of biodiversity, loss of vegetation cover. It reduces water resources. Now we have these to present solutions for it.
A little louder, please.
Now we have other member to present solutions for it.
Yes, and you have only 2 minutes, huh?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, in the solution.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. And,
Yes, ma'am. In the solutions, we have thought that we can build we can build a net like of a thing in the river, so the big contaminants like the plastic or the boxes or the other materials can be stopped during the big rain only, so the clear water that can be used by the farmer near their fertile land can be passed through it. The second thing that we have seen that there are like sometimes they are having floods, or the Kosi river sometimes changes its directions. So ma'am, what we can do, we can build a small wall type of a thing so that Kosi river didn't change its direction, and the fertile land which it is destroying by changing its direction does not do that. And ma'am, there are many that illegal sand mining of the things which are done by the people, and the police should do have the strict rules against these type of peoples who are doing the illegal sand mining, and the things in which we can use alternate materials rather than the sand, we should use them.
So I think I really want you all to think about one thing, that you're doing all these things to keep people out, but this will also keep animals out. Okay? And you don't really want that. And you don't want to keep out all people. Yeah?
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
And when you add, and if there is a flood, no wall is going to stop it. You must have seen all these pictures. All walls get broken. None of our walls can stop floods. So I think there's a need for a deeper analysis for a solution. It may not happen in these 2 days, but take it as a work in progress. And I think that's all I can add. Darab, do you want to say something?
I just wanted to say.
I'm sorry, but sorry.
Yeah.
But
no, go ahead.
Good illustrations so far.
Yes.
Yeah. So that
Yes.
sorry. Yeah.
We love the illustration, and we also love the sincerity with which both of you have spoken. You're obviously concerned about the issues. You see that there's several problems, but I felt like in task 2 you had kind of zoomed in on the sand mining problem, and so I would actually like to see you focus on that. To kind of renew that focus. And if I'm correct in assuming that you also felt that there wasn't a whole lot of awareness about how dangerous sand mining is and how bad it is for the ecosystem. So even though local people are being affected by the sand mining, they don't really understand how serious the problem is, and clearly you feel the need to communicate that to them. So I would like you to focus on that for your October 2nd presentation. And maybe if you could just say just a little bit, something about what you learned by participating in this learning journey so far. Something about what you learned about yourself, perhaps. If you'd like to say something, any one of you.
So we learned a lot during this sessions. Like we learned how the people are affected. How we can take small steps, and how from what we can do by ourselves to help those people. From our level, what we can do for them to save their lives and all that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really nice.
And I think also your point about alternate materials, that could lead to thinking of a solution which is more civil engineering based. And you can also in the next 2 days focus a little bit on that. So you have awareness as an option and alternate materials as an option. So those are 2 good things to think about. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I think Dara,
thank you so much.
We can take maybe we can try taking one more team before we go into.
Yeah, let's do that.
So Seahorse Sanctuary, I think, goes first. Yeah. So we're just trying to keep it alphabetical, really. Seahorse Sanctuary, can you please start? I don't know if you are the ones who's requested going on.
I think Seahorse Shallows was the team that requested.
Okay, Seahorse Shallows, you're soon after Seahorse Sanctuary.
You're next.
Yeah. So we'll start with Seahorse Sanctuary.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. This is a team Seahorse Sanctuary in front of you all, and who works on the principle that save water now or stay thirsty tomorrow. So we are here to show the problem of Mahadev Nair, and recently we did a survey in which we talked to the people and collected the survey in order to see that what are the problems faced by the people there, and collected the photo. I would like to request my team member to please present the screen.
Yes, we can see the photo.
So as you can see in the picture, these pictures are captured by us during the survey, which we held near the Mahadev Nair. And the major challenges which we reviewed the people out there, we have that they were not even after having the sufficient water in their surroundings, the people were not able to use that water for their work. Also, people were not aware about saving water. And we can also see in the next picture that a boy was carrying out fishing practice out there in the contaminated water and was not aware that he could have health hazards in regard to this. So in order to create awareness out there, we conducted Nukkad Natak.
नुक्कड़ नाटक आओ देखो नुक्कड़ नाटक आओ देखते अपने आसपास कैसे कर रहे हैं लोग पानी को बर्बाद अरे why are we wasting water like this अरे नीचे वाले हाय तो क्यों हो रहा है तुम गाड़ी इससे होती है पानी की बर्बादी नल खोल के क्यों पढ़ रहे हो फोन पे बात ऐसे हो रहा है पानी बर्बाद ओ पाइप से क्यों दे रहे हो तुम पौधों को पानी ऐसे हो रही है पानी की बर्बादी अभी भी देर नहीं हुई है अभी भी नहीं हुई है देर आ जाओ करें पानी को सेव शुद्ध पानी का करना है उपयोग रीयूज रिसाइकलिंग कर पानी का करना है सदुपयोग पानी बचाओ जीवन बचाओ जीवन बचाओ पानी बचाओ जीवन बचाओ
Also, there we talked to several people in the shop and asked them about their problems and tried to find solutions for them. We make them aware and understood and tried to leave our impact over them, and they understood and took positive steps in order to maintain the cleanliness and save water. They said us that they will no longer throw the shop waste in the water body nearby. Also, in order to solve the problem that people use filtered water and do not use contaminated water for drinking so that they do not fall ill. So we made sure and we prepared a water filtration in order to make sure that people do not use polluted water and use a filtered one. We tried our best to leave an impact on a society overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Seahorse Sanctuary. So if I remember correctly, the first image that you submitted in task 1 was about chemicals, chemical effluent destroying or polluting rivers. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you? So I feel that there's been changes from task 1 to task 3.
Actually, we decided to visit the nearby river out there, means the water body, and we understood that where the industries are leaving all its chemicals and how it is harming the people around.
Okay, so I'm glad that you took the decision to actually go and see. And I think your picture of the boy fishing in those contaminated waters is very powerful, because it makes one think that it's not just the water, but the food that someone is going to consume. How are we affecting people? So I think you have a very powerful set of images. However, then you have spoken, I will come to the bottled water part because I think I missed it, but there is some, I think you're in a process of evolving your thought, and it has not completely formed in a coherent way, but it's going in a good direction, which is very commendable. So, and I see that now you have chosen awareness, spreading awareness through Nukkad Natak and poetry, which is absolutely okay. What was the comment about the bottled water again?
Ma'am, it was water filtration.
But what was it? What was the suggestion, or what was the point made there?
Ma'am, actually, when we visited there, we talked to people and they said that they do not use the water of this river. And the main reason was that people were throwing polythenes and different things in the rivers, due to which they cannot use that water. So in order to solve this problem, we decided to create a water filtration model, which we are going to present on 2nd October.
Okay. But you didn't talk about bottled water at all, is it? Or did I?
No, ma'am.
No, okay. Then maybe I did not hear it correctly. Okay, so there will be a model and there will be a Nukkad Natak that you will be
Yes, ma'am.
planning to present. Okay. And any reflections from what you have learned? What has changed about the way you learned during this project?
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, by this project, what I learned is we have ourselves to be the change what we have to see in the world later on. I understood that to make people understand, first we have to change ourselves and what we think. We surveyed people out there, we talked to people out there, we find out that in order to change their thinking, first we have to change ourselves and make them aware side by side. And we got a lot of learning by this process. We enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, you both, for making us aware about this all, and to make us aware and to make us look at the other side of a society instead of just learning from the books.
I wanted to just ask you a little follow-up question about that. You mentioned that, you know, you were talking to the I think it was a pharmaceutical chemist shop, right? You were talking to
No, sir. It was not a pharmaceutical shop. It was just like simple food shop.
Oh, like a kirana ka
Yes, sir.
dukan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And you said that you spoke to them and they agreed not to throw their basically the garbage and waste from their shop into the water after that. So I just wanted to ask you, how did that make you feel when they said, oh, we're not going to do that anymore, and it's basically because
So we felt really blessed. I would say we felt a lot good that because of us, not much, but little bit, a river will not be polluted. Because changing a whole society takes a lot of time. But we decided to go one by one and visit people, make them aware. And I felt very good. Even my whole team, all of us felt very good visiting out there and making people understand and to be the change in our society.
And one last question. If you can kind of imagine, you know, like a tarazu, do you feel like your team learned more from that whole exercise, or that people learn more from you in terms of awareness building from the exercise of going to the field, talking to people? What do you think?
Sir, I would say equally, or like we tried our best to express ourselves out there, whatever we learned, whatever we faced, and by seeing the condition of that Neher and all, we felt really bad out there because many of the people, many organisms were harmed out there. The fishes, they were also harmed. They were not also living comfortably in that river. And people who were having fishing practice there, they used to eat that as we asked them. They used to eat it every night there and face a lot of health hazards, and were not aware of them that why is it so. The breeding of mosquitoes also took place. So yes.
So if I understand you correctly, you feel that it was pretty equal. You and the team learned a lot from the exercise by talking to people, seeing the reality, and they also learned from you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. And we really enjoyed the presentation, the photographs. Like Chavi said, that particular photograph was a really powerful one, showing the boy fishing, and you can clearly see how dirty the water is. And we look forward to your presentation on the second.
Thank you so
all the
much, sir.
best.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, sir, to disturb you, but I want to ask that what exactly we have to do on 2nd October? Can you please
Yeah,
tell?
we are coming to that.
Just coming to that.
So, and I think so. We will explain in terms of what to present, but in terms of physical space, where you will present what and what's happening where is something that Team Setu will help you. But we will tell you in terms of your presentation, what would be what would work, what we think would work well. Yeah. So now this looks like a very exhaustive list. So don't get scared. Okay. In fact, what I should mention right away is that this is the amount of work that you've all done in the last 10 days. So, a big hand to all of you to be able to do so much in such short time. Some of you even had exams. But when you present your work on October 2nd, try to condense all of the answers to all these questions in 5 to 7 minutes. Okay. And these are some tips as questions that you can try to, understand, that you can try to sort of draft how you're going to present on October 2nd. So you will show your model or your creative piece, your performance, artwork, whatever you have. You will mention which specific water body you selected, where is it in relation to your home, your school, yourself. Did you visit the site? What did you learn at that site? Where did you go? Who did you speak with? What specific issues did you identify? Who are those issues affecting? How are those people getting affected? Which interventions did you research? Which interventions did you make your final plan, model, prototype, artwork on? Now here there is something which a lot of you have missed. You have, but those missed things we'll come to in a bit. So after telling people which intervention you've chosen, you describe the features of your chosen intervention. You could decide to perform at this stage. So if you have a Nukkad Natak, it's better to give a background from 1 to 8, and which are the answers to 1 to 8 or 2 to 8. And then you actually perform or describe your model, do that. And when after you've done that, you also try and tell them how do you think this intervention is going to transform your audience or the water that you've chosen. Try to, in the next 2 days, figure out which criteria you will use to judge how successful your chosen intervention is. And the points that I've written here in red are the ones where the teams overall seem to have not spent enough time thinking about them on doing these tasks. So in the next 2 days, if your models are sort of ready, maybe 1 or 2 people from your team can focus a little bit on what is in red. One is whatever research you did, what kind of, what all did you look into? This is also more for writing. When you write, you give, you don't just write the name of the newspaper, but you say what date, what was the title of the article that you looked at. Some of you have given pictures of the articles also, but it's not a common practice. So try to give very specific citations. Then the other is, why did you choose a certain intervention? A lot of you have decided that we will do a certain intervention, but why? You selected 3, 4, and then you chose 1 out of why. Some of you have given pros and cons and implied that because of these pros and cons, it's implied, but it's not obvious. And that's very important. Why did you decide to do that? And that most of the teams have not addressed that question. Then the question number 10, you've decided we will do this, but many of you, not all of you, but many of you have, maybe today you have, but until now you've not mentioned how will it affect, what sort of a change will happen in your chosen waters, what sort of change will happen in your target, selected target audience. That again has to come out better in your presentation. This has, most of the teams have not scored on this point where you have to choose a criteria to be able to judge how well you have done. What is that criteria? What is it, a measurement? Is it what is it going to be? So I think Darab, you could add to this slide as well.
Yeah, I don't want to. I think you've made each one of those points really clear. Maybe I'll just say just a little bit about this criteria that Chavi is talking about. See, what from our understanding so far from the presentations that we've heard, you're either focusing on people, right? And that's basically for awareness generation, generating awareness, or you're focusing on something directly that's going to affect the water quality actually. So if you're doing something that's going to directly affect the water quality, then how are you going to judge whether the water quality has improved or not? That's what you need to look at to figure out a criteria. So there's got to be some objective way. You can't just say, well, it looks cleaner, so it must be cleaner. No, that's not a criteria you can use, because you know perfectly well that very absolutely clear water that looks exactly the same as tap water can have very harmful pathogens in it, and by drinking it you can get very sick, right? So it's not about the color of the water. It's got to be something more than that. So are you going to maybe run some tests on the water and to be able to say the water should not have any any sign of E. coli bacteria in it, or it should have very low levels of certain chemicals in it. And as far as working with people, then you have to think seriously about what is it that you want people to do after you make your intervention. So if you are trying to raise their awareness, how will you know whether their awareness has been raised or not? Obviously, you will hope that they will do something or say something or answer a question differently. And I think I mentioned this when we were discussing task 2, that a really good way to see whether somebody's thinking has changed is to ask them the same question before you give them the information or the intervention, and then you give them the same question after you do your intervention. You see whether they give a different answer or the same answer. If they give you the exact same answer, then you know that they haven't understood, or somehow you haven't been able to get the point across. If the answer changes and reflects what you're hoping that they'll say, then you know that your intervention has worked. And you can also tell if the answer is half-baked, if it has part of what you were hoping, but it's missing part of it, then you know that some part of your intervention has been effective, but there are still some gaps. And that's how we as teachers also judge how well we've taught something, by the kind of answers that our students give us, right? And that's how we know. That's how we know whether we've got the point across and whether we need to maybe reteach what we just taught, or maybe approach it in a different way because our students weren't clear in the way we were explaining it or whatever. Okay, so I want you to really focus very, very carefully on that aspect.
And I would just add that if you say that it's going to be awareness, and you're going to ask questions, then that is not the criteria. Tell us which questions you're going to ask. So don't just say, I'm going to ask questions.
Thank you, Chavi.
What question is that going to be is important.
Yes, exactly. Zoom in exactly on what you're going to ask.
And then, like Darab has been helping some of you, discuss what is it that you've learned in this project. Look a little deeper into your experiences, and yeah. So Darab, shall I move on, or
yes, please go ahead.
So the big picture, what our suggestion to all the teams would be, display your work, present based on the tips that we gave you in the previous slide, because all of it is from the work that you've already done. Okay, so it's not something new. It looks very big, but it's what you've already done. Present it in 5 to 7 minutes, which means stick to your project. Okay, present it in 5 to 7 minutes. Save 3 to 5 minutes for your audience to ask you questions. So if I'm a judge, if I keep hearing you and if I don't find the time to ask you questions, I will probably not be able to give you enough marks, enough scores or whatever it is. So keep some time for the audience to ask you questions. Okay, so 5 to 7 minutes for overall presentation where you cover everything that we have discussed in the slide above. It's a challenging task, but it's a skill you should all learn. Okay,
very important that you stick to that time.
Yeah, and 3 to 5 minutes to address audience questions, and take a break from your presentation. Go see the work of other teams, learn from what they have done, and discuss each other's work and experiences with it. If there are some things you felt you did not do well, but they did well, talk to them about it. How did they learn it? What were they thinking? Have a conversation. Have a conversation with other team members as well. Interact with them, okay? We will send you these. On October 2nd, you would be scored on some of these criteria. On all of these criteria is what the plan is. One on the process, when you explain your process to whoever is there, as a judge, they will look at the process and see if you can explain how did you identify the water body that was close to you, how did you explore the intervention, how did you choose the intervention, and how did you develop your models and those things. The next thing that they will look into is your research. How did the team conduct the research? Did you go in the field? Did you read subject-specific websites, newspaper articles, books? Which means you have to cite correctly, not just broad citations like I read a newspaper. Which newspaper? Which date? What articles? Say those things. So that is what they're able to cite the sources clearly. That clarity has to come. Accountability. This is very important in whatever you do. You are accountable for your actions. So are you able to give a reason why you chose this intervention? This is lacking in most teams right now. Are you able to say how this intervention will transform the water body source or the target audience? I haven't heard it from most of the teams or many of the teams so far. And are you able to give at least one criteria that you will use to judge to what extent the intervention is successful? Are you going to test the water quality? How? Specifically, how will you test the water quality? Are you going to test people? What their reactions? Which question exactly? Yeah. So those are the things they will look at.
So what Chavi is actually saying is you have to say here, our team will ask people this question before we do our intervention, and we'll ask them the same question after we do the intervention. Or if you're testing water quality, then before we start our intervention, we will test this, and this parameter. And after our intervention, or 1 month after, or every 6 months or whatever, we will test we will test these parameters, and we hope that that they'll reach this level in a year's time or 5 years' time or whatever. So you'll need to do a little bit of research. Especially if you're doing a direct intervention, clearly either you want the amount of water to increase or the flow to increase, or you want the water quality to become better. So you have to think about those things. Okay. So if you want the amount of water to increase, then you have to know how much you have before you start, so that you can tell whether it's increased or not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So next is your presentation, that you put up a well-designed and maybe an innovative display. And I see most of you are doing well on that front, is what I see. and that you're able to finish presenting your question and answers in 10 to 12, including your question and answers in 10 to 12 minutes. So you're sticking to this timeline, that your punctuality is going to be a part of the assessment. And then your reflections. How are you reflecting? That's something that has helped quite a few of you. We hope you get the idea. So how are you able to, how deeply are you able to actually reflect on it? Okay, so yeah. And that's it. So all the best. And we will go back to the teams who have not yet presented. And we will share these slides. So you will have these criteria with you. And we'll move on. We'll move on now to Seahorse Shallows. Apologies, you had to wait, but please go ahead. It's your turn now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
A very good evening to respected teachers. I am Ida Ali, member of the team Seahorse Shallows. Ma'am, we have prepared a collage on our intervention, that is tree revetment. I request one of my team members to share the screen of our collage, please. No, that's it. Ma'am, in this collage, we have given the answers of so many questions. Our source of water is River Dhela, and the main issue is riverbank erosion. The possible intervention that we have found out is tree revetment.
So what about tree revetment? What is the what will you do about
Yes, ma'am. Tree revetments are cut trees anchored at the bottom or toe of unstable stream banks. These anchored trees serve to slow the current along the bank, decreasing erosion and allowing sediment to be deposited within the tree branches. And much more questions that you can see in our collage. What is Kedar tree revetment? Why install Kedar tree revetment? How will my revetment be installed? How much will my revetment cost?
Okay.
And the features of our intervention is not appropriate near bridges or other structures where there is high potential for downstream damage if the revetment dislodges during flood events, and it may be damaged in streams where heavy ice flows occur.
Okay.
Ma'am, our target audience is the people who are living on the bank or near the bank of river. We want to tell the difficulties of these people that they are facing because of riverbank erosion. That's why we have also consulted the councillor of that area, because she is the one who can take these steps to stop riverbank erosion. We can't do tree revetments. We can only see the difficulties, the issues are happening, and the possible interventions. We are also having a picture with the councillor. Can my team member please share the pic with her?
All right.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay.
Ma'am, we will also add this picture in our collage.
Okay.
And by doing this intervention, we have learned that how riverbank erosion can cause that much destruction and can be a threat to the livelihood near the riverbank erosion.
Okay. So I think the intervention that you're looking at, I would phrase it as informing the policymaker. Would that be correct to say that? That you
Yes,
want to inform policymakers.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are collecting information about issue in a certain locality,
about the issues,
and then you want to inform policymakers. So it's sort of a report. The report that you're trying to make is in a collage form. Shall we? Am I correct in understanding that?
Ma'am, it is a report in the form of a collage.
Yeah, and the report is meant for a policymaker, because you met and spoke to a counselor, right? To the counselor.
Yes, ma'am. Because she can, because she is the one that can take these steps. We can't take, no?
Okay. And so I like the fact that you have sort of followed the process, and you have started with this issue right from the beginning, and you've sort of reached a point where you're able to, like, you sort of follow the process with the same idea, and you've little by incrementally evolved it. So that's very good. Have you been able to think about a criteria that you would use to measure the effect of your intervention? So in another way of asking this question is, how will you measure, or how will you evaluate that the effect of informing a policymaker about a certain problem? How would you evaluate that?
Ma'am, we have met her and have told about our project that we are doing, and that is Setu.
Okay.
And have also told the issues that we have find out, the intervention that we can do, and she can take the steps. She'll also make us.
Yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. She also ensures that she'll take these steps. She will take this step. She will take these steps.
So do you think you could follow up on this with her, let's say after a few months?
Yes, ma'am. We will definitely follow her.
Yes. Dara, do you think that could be a criteria?
Yeah, I think that definitely could be a criteria, because see, basically now you focused on informing the counselor that these are the problems and this is a possible solution, and we would like you to make this happen, right? I think that's what you've told her, right? That you would actually like to see her make this tree revetment happen. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. So then I guess you need to keep asking the same question about, like, basically about the progress of the project, right? Like, so before you now you've actually already spoken to her. So now I guess you need to basically make a couple of questions that you need to ask her regularly to find out, like, what progress things are making. Like, has she informed?
Yes, sir. We will try to meet her again and again and asking about the progress that she has taken.
Yeah, and focus on how will you know that that the project is actually making progress. How will you know that? How will you be able to say to the people that, well, we went and met her yesterday and we feel that the process is moving forward, and we know that because she said this, and each time it will be something different,
So we
because
will request
steps, right?
What action has?
Yes, sir. So we will request.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So think about that carefully, how you're going to judge whether whether the project is moving forward, what actions has she taken, right? And maybe the beginning is to go and meet her again, and basically to ask her, can you please explain, like, what are the various steps involved in actually making this happen?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
We will also request her to meet the people who are facing the difficulties because of the riverbank erosion.
Yes. I think that's also very important, because you also remember to do something like tree revetment, you need labor. You need people to actually do the work on the ground. Sir. And if people contribute to that,
we can't afford these people. Yes, sir.
Right. So if people are really worried and they, they are affected, and this is something that they understand. Yes, this could be a good solution. Then maybe you need to talk to them about actually putting in some of their own labor to make it happen.
Yes, sir.
And that would also be a good criteria for, you know, how much your intervention has been successful and how much you get people's participation in this project.
Sure, sir.
Okay?
And at last, by doing this intervention, we have learned that how much riverbank erosion can cause that much destruction and can be a threat to the livelihood near the riverbank erosion.
Yeah.
And I think we can't be able to learn these much things related to River Dhela's issues, possible interventions. But I think only because of Setu, we are able to find the River Dhela and its issues, the possible interventions to stop riverbank erosion.
I'm sorry, but I think we need to move on just in the interest of
Yeah.
time. Very sorry to cut this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so the next
Thanks
team.
for keeping us on track, Chavi. Thank you, Team Seahorse Shallows.
So
Thank
now
you very
we
much.
have Sharks domain. Sharks domain.
Are you there, Sharks Domain? Sharks Domain doesn't seem to be there.
Okay, then we can move on to Starfish Reef. I see
Yeah.
them, they are here. Starfish Reef, you can start, please.
Good evening, ma'am and sir.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I would like one of my teammates to present the screen. So, ma'am and sir, as you can see that our intervention is educational intervention for water conservation. Good evening, everyone. This is Starfish Reef presenting the intervention, which is called educational intervention. I would say that educational intervention is the main intervention, and we chose this intervention because this teaches us and the youth which will grow up and do many things for the entire world to conserve water. Teaching ourselves to reduce water usage is the best thing which will be under educational intervention and scientific intervention as well. And
Methods to reduce water waste without recycling or machinery is the best way to save water. Drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, and exclusive stepping are the methods by which we can save water. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, we lost our connection. So,
Yeah. So just wait. Let the Starfish Reef team finish, and then you can present Shark Domain. Yeah.
Ma'am, can we continue?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Understanding the impact of water. The headings which we are telling you and presenting you will be coming under educational intervention. Droughts, habitat destruction, climate change will be the damage caused to people living over there as well as the earth.
There are the many benefits of water conservation, like save money, preserve resources, and create jobs.
The case study of successful water conservation educational programs. As you can see, education can do many things, and educational programs that will be running in schools and campaigns that will be taking place are the best of the intervention taking place. At last, I would tell you that educational intervention is the main intervention and the most powerful intervention.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Please don't read the slides. And try not to do that because your time is going to get over very fast. And I've seen your presentations, they're long and you can't read them out completely. My question to you is, would you be making a PowerPoint presentation? Is that your plan? Or are you actually going to showcase how you will, what is it that you're going to teach from the slides that you've shown?
Ma'am, we also have a video. Actually, we visited a river, which is Kosi River, which is near the temple, Girja Devi, if you have heard of that.
So what is that the video says?
Ma'am, the videos will tell the problems which the people were facing and what educational intervention can do for them.
So this presentation is about the intervention, right?
Yes, ma'am. The things will fall under intervention.
So I understand you've done education intervention and your slides are good. Okay? So that's fine. But reading from the slide is not going to help. Can just move on to the next slide, please.
Conclusion and call out to action for water conservation. Conclusion is an essential to protecting our natural resources and ensuring a sustainable future.
So these quotes, which are from your team, are very nice.
Yes,
okay, some of your team have made quotes, and I think you should use them as a part of your display.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in case of educational interventions, Bharat, how do you think they can display this with a little bit more, so that it becomes a little bit more?
I think, in this case also, the way that they've shown these different sides, that would make a nice collage. That would be a nice way to display those different points, the benefits, what you can do, what are the benefits.
Yeah, so think about those things. Think about making it either as a collage or as a display where you can, think of it more in terms of education than as a slideshow.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. I think maybe we can relook at. Do you want to also present another presentation?
Ma'am, we have a video actually.
How long is the video?
Ma'am, 2 minutes.
Okay, can you play that, please?
Rishabh, please play the video.
You'll have to share sound. Okay, this is a video that you've already submitted.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, don't play this. We have seen this. And this
this one was for task 2 that you'd submitted this.
Yes, ma'am.
And this sort of also in a way reads out and it doesn't say much about the survey. So that's another thing. You just say we did a survey and we found this, but there are no details of the survey. If you have some details of the survey, try to put them on a sheet and display. So be a little more detailed about who did you survey, what did they say, quotations or something. So a little bit, you're on the right track. But
excuse me, ma'am. Yeah. Actually, we had planned out a Nukkad Natak also, which we are going to show on 2nd of October, based on educational intervention.
Okay.
So where we will tell others and showcase that how education help in the for saving water and what are the problems that we local peoples are facing, and after awareing the peoples, we will get to know that better options by which we can save water. We can just tell others waterborne disease about that, which we explained in the previous. Niharika, my friend, has told in the previous task. So we are going to show that on 2nd October.
So make sure that sorry, Darav,
Yeah,
please.
no, I just wanted to say though, in that case, I would say then avoid showing the video because you've shared that as part of your task too.
Yeah.
And just focus on your Nukkad Natak and taking this information which you've showed us and maybe presenting it as a display, as a collage.
So it's a very nice thing that we've gone into history and taken citation from history. So it's good to sort of put it up, maybe write it, put Nehruji's photo, that's good. But don't read it out.
Yeah, don't.
Let people read it on their own. It's very good that I think yours is the only team that has taken history as something to work with, which is very good because you are looking at not just engineering and biology, but you're looking at history. It's your strength.
Yeah, it's a source of inspiration for you.
Yeah. So, but
and for all of us.
Don't read it out. Just make it as a background. Put it as a background. Do something like that. If you're in Nukkad Natak, you can put it as a background. So think about it a little bit more creatively. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you so much, Team Starfish Reef.
Yeah, we haven't heard from you about the reflections. So maybe just take half a minute, 1 minute to just any one of you talk about the reflections.
What have you learned from this journey of Setu?
We have learned a lot. We didn't knew about the river Kosi which was flowing, and then the people said that they were getting a kind of foul smell from the river also. They told us about many other things that they did, and some people that I also said that they might leave this place to go find another.
And most importantly, ma'am, we also know this, that everybody know about it, that water is polluting, water is foul smell is arising, but none of the person who is living around is in condition to take action. So we encourages them. We told them that the change is within us, so we only can do that.
So I think these are some very important points that you've brought out. Movement of people due to issues around the water, right? So bring these things out in your presentation. These are very important economic issues. Why people living next to the river are not able to deal with it, deal with the problems. Is it actually only their problem, or even if you're living away from the river, you still have to take care? These are the things that you bring out in your. So you have very good sense of history, economic, some economic aspect, social aspect, that people are moving away. They are not able to live next to the river. There is a sensory fear, there are a lot of things to work with. So pick up one of those and get a little creative.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
But in your educational framework, don't just leave it behind, but pick one of those. Get creative, but in your education.
And please, for every single team here, I'll just repeat one more time what Chavi said. Don't read out your slides. If you're going to read something, make sure that it's very, very simple, just like bullet points.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Turtle Bay.
Actually, Sharks Domain, I think, is back with us.
Okay.
They had lost their connection, they were saying.
Right.
So we can come back to, are you there? Are you there, Sharks Domain? Can you present
Good
to
evening,
us?
sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Good evening.
So actually, we have a video. So may we play that?
Yes. Make sure to
go
share
ahead.
this window.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Darav, I have to just quickly step out. Can you just take care?
Sure. Sure.
Water here is really contaminated. We have some pics to show you how water is contaminated in our area. People throw garbage in water without hesitating or thinking about how it pollutes the environment and also affect our lives. Water here is really contaminated and eutrophication is taking place over there. We also had a field visit to ask people how it affects them. This water is not at all useful. Earlier, people used to cook food from this water, but now this water is not at all potable. Also, during the rainy season, the water overflows and also it fills the road and the roads are blocked. This water never comes in use and is also really contaminated, creating diseases, germs and bacteria.
यहाँ पर नदियाँ कब से ओवरफ्लो होना शुरू हुई थी?
इस बार बारिश बहुत अधिक हुई है, मतलब अन्य जो वर्ष है पिछले सालों के मुकाबले काफ़ी ज़्यादा बारिश हुई है। तो हमने तो पहली बार इस बार ये जो हमारे पास बाहर वो नहर है उसको ओवरफ्लो होते हुए देखा है।
अच्छा, आपको उसके ओवरफ्लो होने से क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हुई थी?
उसके ओवरफ्लो होने से बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कतें आई, क्योंकि उसका पानी इतना ज़्यादा बाहर आ गया था कि हमारी कॉलोनी के अंदर पूरा पानी बह गया था। हमें आने जाने में भी बड़ी दिक्कतें हुई है, और ट्रैफिक के लिए जो रास्ता था वो तो पता ही नहीं लगता था, सड़क पे और नहर में कोई डिफरेंस ही पता नहीं लग रहा था। और जब पानी उतरा उसके बाद तो मतलब कि वो काफ़ी टाइम से पानी अभी भी बल्कि रुका हुआ है, पूरी तरह से सूखा नहीं है। तो ऐसा मतलब मच्छरों के पैदा होने की बड़ी मतलब समस्या पैदा हो गई, और ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे मतलब ये आशंका बनी हुई कहीं से बीमारियां ना फैलने लग जाए शहर में।
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharks Domain. Could you just say a little bit, now you explained in this video, you spoke about the problem, but not the intervention.
So for the intervention, I have a PPT. May I please show that?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay, thank you so much. So Sharks Domain, you've shown several options for interventions, but you didn't explain which one you chose. have you chosen one particular intervention? Are you going to do an awareness raising one? Are you going to actually try one of these?
So we are going to try alum treatment.
Okay. So you're going to experiment with alum treatment and see how it works?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So looking at the list of different types of interventions, which I think we had presented to you when we were asking you to come up with your task 2, I think one of them was called scientific intervention, and that was experimental based. So does this fall under that, you think, a scientific intervention where you're going to actually experiment with alum treatment to see how well it works, and then maybe at a later stage talk to people about it? Or are you going to ask people to experiment with it? Or how exactly are you planning to go ahead with the alum treatment?
So firstly, we are going to make people aware about how eutrophication is affecting us, and they should not do polluting water and all. Then we are going to experiment with alum treatment. We are going to experiment that how it works and how it will affect, and then we will try to clean more and more areas.
Okay. So if I get you correctly now, so you're saying that you're going to start by awareness raising about eutrophication, and then you're going to experiment with alum treatment. So you're going to try these 2 things side by side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now again, the slideshow you just showed, those slides were loaded with a lot of text. Now, definitely that's not something you should be reading out. So I would suggest, look seriously at how you can make that a little more kind of reader friendly when you present on October 2nd. Otherwise, I really appreciate the fact that you have, right from task 1, you have zeroed in on one particular problem, that's eutrophication, and you followed up on that, trying to find researching different interventions that can help with tackling eutrophication. And now you're focusing on an intervention that's specifically around eutrophication. And remember, like you've said, actually, you've explained this in your research, that eutrophication is primarily because of excessive nutrients which cause uncontrolled plant growth, right? So where are those nutrients coming from? How can those nutrients be, the flow of those nutrients be stopped or slowed down? Or once they reach the water, how can you find a way to absorb those nutrients? So I want you to think about those things. I think that's all I want to say right now. Maybe just take just 1 minute to say something about what you learned from participating in Setu.
So earlier we just studied about what eutrophication actually is. But after visiting these places, we got to know that how people are actually polluting the water bodies, and then they are making it a problem for themselves, So this was a really great experience. We interviewed many people about that, how this water is affecting them, and they should also not throw all these things in the water which causes eutrophication. So yeah, it was a really good experience.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Sharks Domain.
Thank
Chabi,
you.
do you have
I just-
anything last minute to add before we?
Yeah, actually, I just want to I had a chat with Team Setu,
Yeah.
and looks like the way that the event is getting planned, each of the team has a bigger challenge that they have to finish under presentations under 5 minutes because they want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. So you have not 5 to 7 minutes, but you have less than 5 minutes, which means I would suggest keep it as short as possible so that you have time enough for people to ask you questions. So less than 5 minutes, not 5 to 7 minutes, and I will also correct this. And Team Setu has requested that all the the in charges of each team to please connect with Team Setu separately. And they want to understand what all you're presenting. So if there is something that you can present as a model or as a brochure or as a collage like you're doing, so do that. And lesser words, the better. Okay, so it's a tighter challenge for you.
Yeah, you're going to have to just stick to main points.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to move to Turtle Bay now. Yeah, I'm going to invite Turtle Bay.
Sorry, Chubby, I'm going to have to leave. Actually, I have a doctor's appointment, which I can't miss. So I'll just stay. I think there is only one more presentation. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait for that. And I'm going to have to say bye after that.
Yeah, and I think Ananya is here. Ananya, do you want to say something, add something before we...
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sir, before you leave, on behalf of Team Setu, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks for guiding the children. I know in spite of the health issues that you're facing right now, the sessions continued and we are really, really grateful for that. Thank you for mentoring the students and making the sessions so enlightening and entertaining for the kids. I hope everybody will agree to it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ananya. It's been a great pleasure to be part of this journey. And I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. Every minute of it.
So happy, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome.
Over to you and Chubby ma'am, sir.
So Turtle Bay, can we see what you're presenting, please?
Good evening, ma'am and sir, and everyone present here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Our topic is based on the use of RO. So we have tried to prepare a small drama in order to educate people regarding the use of water that is being released by RO and wasted by almost 44% people of our country. Ma'am, we have shared the video with Team Setu in the chat box. It will be wonderful if they could play
it. Yeah, we'll be presenting it in 1 sec.
Yeah. How long is the video? Share sound, please. We can't hear.
Yeah, no audio.
Sir, actually the first 40 seconds are not audible. Without sound. Without sound.
Hey Aisha, why are you wasting this much of water?
Wait, what? Am I wasting water?
Yes, you are wasting water by using RO.
I have to use it. Obviously, the water is so dirty, so I don't have a choice.
Yes, you have a choice. One way is to use earthen pots. It keeps the water cool as well as add some nutrients in it. And still, if you want to use RO, then you should store its released water in a bucket. You know, when RO works, it wastes 75% water, only 25% is useful.
But that water is still not fit for drinking. What is the use of it?
You are right. It contains TDS, but it can be utilized for watering the plants, mopping the floor, etc.
Okay, I get it. I understand it. From today, I will not waste and utilize it for such household activities. I will share this idea with all my friends, classmates, schoolmates, and spread this idea to save water.
Okay, good. How quickly you get it?
Okay, from today, I will not waste the water and utilize it for such household works.
The earth is beautiful when it is blue.
One small step is all that is save water and save earth.
For every 1 liter of filtered water, an RO wastes 3 liters of water every day.
Conserve water and the future is in your hand.
From today, we all are going to save water. Thank you.
Okay, I think it drives home pretty much whatever you've given in task 1 and task 2. So we have time for maybe the reflections. What did you learn in the process? And how will you, what criteria will you use to judge how successful your natak is? Turtle Bay?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to reflect on how, what did you learn during this process?
Ma'am, from this we learned that 3 liters of water is wasted every day from RO and only 1 liter of water is useful. So we should utilize that waste water for our household work.
Okay. What we also want to ask is there something other than what you're showing us? Is there something else that you learned in terms of working together as a team? How was it to work together as a team to come up with a natak, for example? So think about some of these, and also think about how will you judge whether your natak is successful?
Like, what kind of a question could you come up with to ask people who you show your Nukkad Natak to find out whether they've understood or not and whether they're motivated to actually change their practices? Think about that.
I think we can wrap it up here, Dara, because I think this team Setu also, we have all stayed on for, I would say, half an hour extra because we started 20 minutes late. So
yeah.
Are we ready to?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Every single one of the teams that's represented here today, it's both Chavi and I have to say that we've so enjoyed the energy and the enthusiasm and the effort that you've all put in. And I think Chavi has given you a lot of pointers about how to take what you've done so far and present it in a really, really very effective way for October 2nd.
Yeah, so please connect with Team. Sorry, Dara, were you saying something?
No, that's all I wanted to say. I just want to say that that you've given everyone a lot of pointers, and that now it's your job to think over these pointers and kind of distill your learning and present it really effectively on the second. And I wish all of you all the best. It's been delightful interacting with all of you. And a big thank you to Chavi also for getting me here. I'm so glad. So thank you, Chavi, for that.
Thank you, Dara. Thank you. I think I enjoyed this journey with everybody here and with you especially. I think something special for me, something special is coming out of this. And I think I would really like to thank Little Scholars for giving us this platform to talk to everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
We
Thank you so
apologize
much.
for the delay today. But yeah, we wrap it up here. Thanks a lot to the team.
Thank
I
you
think
so
we are doing
much.
great work. Yeah.
Yeah, we love the
Pleasure is all
idea.
ours, ma'am. It was indeed very informative, very entertaining. The kids have really enjoyed. Even my anchors were thoroughly involved with all the sessions. They were very enjoying it really nicely. Also, now for all the teens, though Darab sir will not be here with us, but I would like to inform that Chavi ma'am will be joining us on 2nd October offline. So you will all get a chance to meet her offline also.
I'm very
Yay.
Yes, so are we, ma'am. Really looking forward to meet you.
Thanks for really setting all this up.
Over to Team Setu.
Yeah, I'll say bye now because I actually have to go. So
thank you, Dara.
Yeah, thank you so much, Team Setu. I'm sorry, I just have to say bye to you now, but all the best, and you've done a great job of opening and closing all the sessions so far. So I really commend you both. Thank you so much.
It was really an amazing session. I must say that I was thrilled to see your creativity and the innovative ideas all the teams presented throughout the week. As we all know, this was the last online workshop, but we all are excited to see everyone on 2nd October in Little Scholars Kashipur for the finale. Reaching time for participating schools is 9 o'clock and the event will start by 10 a.m. The dress code for the participants will use along with white t-shirts.
Team Setu, you're not audible.